Potential title decider as early as Heat 1. If 14 times world champion Tony Beau makes it through to the grand final from here, he will wrap up title number 15. If Adam Raga makes it through, though, Beau's hopes are over, and Raga's only remaining rival would be Jaime Busto. Mikel Jalabert, he's the spoiler, out of realistic contention for honours, but he's first up to set the bar. For brand new sections in the heat stages, only section 5 follows any of the course from the opening round, so Jalabert at a clear disadvantage, just as he was a 6th seed in Andorra when he crashed out of the event through injury. 5 sections in 5 minutes, the clock already counting for Mikel Jalabert. Quite fortunate only to walk away with a minor knee injury after that spectacular crash at X-Trial Andorra la Vella a couple of weeks ago. Was quite heavily hit by his bike. Always aiming to return for his home event, X-Trial Barcelona. This the most significant step of Section 1 for Mikel Jalabert. He's made it through clean so far. Big effort required here. Mikel Jalabert is up, but down he goes. The minder forced to catch the front wheel, and it's a 5-mark score in Section 1 for Mikel Jalabert. So just as in X-Trial Andorra la Vella a fortnight ago, Jalabert starts with a fiasco, looking to improve from here on in. Mikel Jalabert. Big step right at the start of this Section 2 is likely to be the biggest challenge of this one. Mikel Jalabert. Building himself up and now underway. Makes it up the first step, but slips back down to a 5-mark score. It's 2 fiascos in a row for Mikel Jalabert. Tough start for him. 12th time he's made it through inside the top 6 positions in his 18th X-Trial appearance, Mikel Jalabert. Certainly getting any further against Adam Raga and Tony Beau is always likely to be a real task, with 10 marks from 2 sections. At the moment, it's looking unlikely. Mikel Jalabert then into Section 3, immediately takes a dab, forced to put down his right foot at the top of the A-frame there. So a single mark to his name, that moves him on to a total of 11, Mikel Jalabert. This the main challenge at the mid-lap phase. This step here and done nicely on the back wheel. Potential risk for a mark for leaning there. Encourages the sump to catch on the crest, but Jalabert negotiates it well after that early single mark, looking to get through his first successfully completed section of this round 2. Heat 1 for Mikel Jalabert. Final step. Jalabert earns a rousing reception from the crowd here at the Palau Sant Jordi. 11 marks from 3 sections. After back-to-back failures, Jalabert gets his night back on track. Mikel Jalabert then making his 4th appearance at X-Trial Barcelona. 7th in 2018, 5th in 2019, 7th again last season. Looking to improve on that 5th place as he makes his way now into Section 4. And immediately a scrappy start, and he's short on the second step as well. So it's going to be the initial mark for footing, that one for leaning as he lands on the sump. It's 2 for Jalabert, who now moves on to 13 with 1 section remaining after this one. Okay on time, although the section's much more complicated and longer than we saw at X-Trial Andorra la Vella last time out, so time will certainly be a factor. 5 minutes for 5 sections, remember. Final steps to come here for Mikel Jalabert. 1 to go. Straightforward fashion in the end, but it was a scrappy start to Section 4. Jalabert moves on to 13 marks from 4 sections. 1 more to go as he sets the benchmark here in heat number 1. Adam Raga, remember, and Tony Beau still to come. Mikel Jalabert, though, bouncing back quite nicely at what is very much a home event for him. Born in this city, and he now lives just north in Girona. Section 5, this will be the final section in each of the rounds tonight, the classic staircase section, the signature of Extra Barcelona. Finishes up in the stands alongside the amassed spectators. You'll notice a slight change from one round to the next. In round one, the riders rode all the way up on the left-hand lane before the exit gate. In round two, as you can see, they're using elements of the right-hand lane. And in the final, they'll be forced to jump to the biggest step before the exit. Mikel Jalabert almost overreaching there, but eventually pulls it back on the landing. Very narrow platform on which he rests. He's forced, of course, to bridge to the next obstacle. Not much of a run up there either. Single mark there for leaning for Mikel Jalabert on the landing. Just catches the sump. Compressed down as hard as possible at that stage. So just one final step to make now for Mikel Jalabert as he moves on to a total of 14 marks. Twists nicely in the air. And he's through to be greeted by the spectators. It's a 14-mark lap for Mikel Jalabert in heat number one. 3 out of the 5 sections completed successfully. Double fiasco to open the lap, though. Makes life a little bit tough for him as far as qualification is concerned. Adam Raga then next up. And his target, more than just beating Mikel Jalabert here, will be to make things as difficult as possible for Tony Beau. He doesn't yet know, of course, what the reigning champion will be able to do through these sections. Almost unprecedented to see them matched up in the same heat together, and certainly unprecedented to see a potential championship decider as early as this stage. Real head-to-head between Raga and Beau tonight, and it's exemplified in this heat number one. Crucial section one where Mikel Jalabert failed. Remember, he suffered 2 fiascos in a row. Up goes Adam Raga, and down as well. It's a 5-mark score, and not the start he would have wanted to a heat that's going to potentially decide the 2021 World Championship. That makes section 2 even more important here for Adam Raga. Mikel Jalabert failed 2 in a row at the start. Raga looking to avoid the same fate. May well be the case, of course, that these 2 sections prove beyond the reach of Tony Beau as well, but you wouldn't want to bet on it. Adam Raga was second to Beau by an 11-mark margin at Extra Landor first time out in the grand final. Makes his way now into section 2. He's almost up. Slips momentarily and perilously backwards, and the minder catches the front wheel just to stop the rider himself from falling back. So 2 sections and 2 failures. Exactly the same as Mikel Jalabert before him. And Jalabert suddenly does become a risk to Adam Raga. Any more failed sections now for him, and it would be game over for his title hopes. 3 still to come, including this section 3, where Jalabert took a single mark first time out. Mark for footing on this first A-frame. Adam Raga positioned at the bottom. He's got a nice upward ramp to help him. Raga makes it with dexterity and with a turn, as you can see from the onboard camera here from his minder. Adam Raga, who would be beaten by Mikel Jalabert if he were to fail any of the 3 remaining sections, let alone by Tony Beau. Jalabert doing well enough with 3 completed sections in a row at the end of his lap to finish on 14. Raga currently on 10. He's been clean so far in section 3. Made it through 2 of the 3 main steps of the section. One final effort to come then from the TRS man, Adam Raga. 137th Extra World Championship appearance tonight. He's clean in section 3. First clean of anyone in this heat 1. Taxing level of difficulty as always at Extra Barcelona. That's going to be a mark for leaning right at the start of section 4 for Adam Raga, and then he has to take a mark for footing to get himself out of jail. So a stuttering start to section 4 for Adam Raga, and he won't be happy about that. 12 marks now his score. Remember, 14 was Jalabert's total, so only 2 to play with now for Raga to beat Jalabert, let alone to challenge Tony Beau. Making his way through the rest of the section easily enough, though. And Raga is through with a 2-mark score in section 4, the same as Mikel Jalabert before him, and only 1 up on where Jalabert was at the same stage. 1 section still to come for Raga. Home man here at Extra Barcelona, lives just an hour's drive from the Palau Sant Jordi. Took the first win of his career here in 2002 and his latest in 2019. 6 times a winner of this Extra Barcelona, Adam Raga. He was second to Tony Beau last time out at Extra Landor Elevella, his 8th consecutive runner-up finish. In then to section 5. Maximum of 2 marks that Raga can afford, or he'll be beaten by Jalabert and his world title hopes will be over. High pressure situation here for Raga. Jalabert made it through this section 5 with a single mark. Raga also needs to think about time. A little bit of pressure late on for him here. Remains to be seen what Tony Beau can do, of course. Under the roof of the San Jordi here in heat number 1. Final piece of work for Adam Raga to do. Makes the turn. And he is clean. It's the second clean of the lap for Adam Raga. Finishes on a total of 12. And now it's over to Tony Beau to see whether he can settle the World Championship fight right here in heat number 1. Well, it was a nervous start to tonight for Tony Beau, who took a fiasco in the opening section of round 1. Just as it was a nervous start in Extra Landura La Vella last time out for him. He was only 1 error away from elimination in section 6 of the opening round of his home event. But from there, blew away the cobwebs, took 12 consecutive cleans, a comfortable opening night victory. Doesn't necessarily need a victory this evening to claim the title. If he makes it through heat number 1 ahead of Adam Raga and Mikel Jalabert, he will be world champion. Raga's score was 12. He failed these opening 2 sections consecutively. Tony Beau then, bidding to become the first rider successfully through section 1 of round number 2 here at Extra Barcelona. His minder, Carlos Berneda, waiting at the top, and Beau joins him, takes a mark for leaning, but Beau is through. The first rider successfully through section 1, and Tony Beau takes an immediate 4-mark advantage here in heat number 1. Nobody had looked even close to getting to the top of that step. Can Beau now make it 2 out of 2 that he completes at the expense of his 2 rivals who are watching patiently on, Mikel Jalabert and Adam Raga. 12 for Raga, 14 for Jalabert, just 1 so far for Tony Beau. Big step at the start of section 2. Oh, and an awkward fall for Tony Beau. That looked pretty nasty, and it could have been even worse. Manages to hold on to the machine for long enough to throw it away from himself. So Beau with his first failure of the second round, the heat stages here at Extra Barcelona tonight. Massive effort right at the start of section 3. Great alacrity Tony Beau is showing. So he takes a mark for leaning there, just resting the sump at the crest of section 3. Did say earlier on that that was likely to be a risk for the riders. Tony Beau, the first rider to succumb in that way. That moves him on to 7 marks. Still 2 sections to come after this one, of course. Beau is through in section 3. He hasn't yet had a clean tonight. Adam Raga had a clean in section 3. So 3 marks, the difference between them, with 2 to come. Raga dropped 2 marks in section 4. What now can Tony Beau do? A clean for Tony Beau in this section. He'll be guaranteed victory in heat number 1, and that would also be enough to give him the world title. With a section to spare in heat 1, and with a round to spare tonight. Round final still to come. Tony Beau well on his way. Tony Beau is the 2021 Extra World Champion. A moment of celebration for him. It's 15 in a row for Tony Beau. Final section still to come. Beau, ever the competitor, is going to be keen to finish in style. The crowd applaud. Tony Beau then looking to finish this heat 1 in style. First clean on the lap last time out in section 4. Beau winner in 12 of the last 14 extras staged here. Beaten by Adam Raga in 2008 and 2019 as well. Riding now for pride in section 5. He'd beat Raga, of course, on countback, even if he were to fail this section. Although whether Beau qualifies to the final as top seed may also depend on this outing. He immediately turns his attention to another victory at this most prestigious of events, Extra Barcelona. Just 1 more step to come. Tony Beau already through to the grand final. Already with the pressure removed from his shoulders. And now the celebrations can begin. Tony Beau enjoyed the moment briefly after section 4, and he can enjoy it even more now. Heat 1 then reaches its conclusion. Tony Beau 7, Adam Raga 12, Mikel Jalabert 14. Tony Beau is world champion. Victory by a 5-mark margin there for Tony Beau in Heat 1 over Adam Raga, his main rival. Raga's world number 2 status is now under threat as well. Competitive performance from Mikel Jalabert, who misses out on a further outing by just 2 marks. On now to Heat 2. On paper, the weaker of the 2 heats, but that simply means that anything could happen here. 7th, 4th and 3rd at the opening round. Marseille, Gratarola and Beau. Gabrielle Marseille first up as the lowest qualifying seed of the riders here in heat number 2. A little bit of acrobatics before he gets underway. Section 1 then for Gabrielle Marseille, 7th at the opening round, X-Trial Andorra la Vella. Finished just a single mark from the qualification positions in what was a close-fought preliminary phase. Just 4 marks on that occasion, separating 2nd from 7th. It was close again tonight. Marseille making it through with a single mark margin to his name. Section 1, Tony Beau, the only rider to have been able to make it through this one. Gabrielle Marseille then looking to capitalise on the advantage, of course, of having seen Beau make it through. It's one thing to watch Beau do it, it's another thing to be able to copy him. Final step then of section 1, where Mikel Jalabert and Adam Raga were caught out in heat 1. Gabrielle Marseille. The young Galician bridges to the final step. Up he goes and down to a 5 in similar fashion to Jalabert and Raga before him in heat 1. Heat 2 gets underway with a fiasco for Gabrielle Marseille. The 21-year-old now laying down rubber before section 2. That initial step having caught out all 3 riders in heat 1. Marseille makes it through where Beau couldn't. That really would raise the roof. Up he goes, and heat 2 is down. And the bike pivoting away from him. It's a 5-mark score then in section 2 for Gabrielle Marseille. 10 marks from 2. Jalabert and Raga were on the same score at the same stage, of course. Ooh, clumsy start to section 3 for Gabrielle Marseille. He gets himself caught on the sump. He's going to need his left foot to move himself away. This is where we saw Mikel Jalabert drop a mark in heat 1. Marseille's just taken 2. Makes it successfully there over the main crest of the section and past the section's highest point. From here on in, nobody struggled on this final step. You can see there's not much of a run-up to it, though, for Gabrielle Marseille. Exactly how you are is perfect for Gabrielle Marseille, who makes his way through. 2 marks in section 3. 12 then his total from 3. Of course, he's setting the benchmark in this heat 2 with Matteo Gratarola and Jaime Beau still to come. Impossible to know at this stage whether he's doing well enough to make it through, at least to the consolation final. After a 7th position finish at the opening round, he would be, I think, satisfied just with that. Only 8th last season in what was his first appearance at X-Trial Barcelona. Big occasion does tend to get to the least experienced riders. No such problems in this one, though, for Gabrielle Marseille. Nicely done in section 4. Both Mikel Jalabert and Adam Raga dropped 2 marks in that section in heat 1. Gabrielle Marseille, by contrast, is clean. Super performance. 1 section remains then for him. Section 5. Up the staircase for Gabrielle Marseille. Competitive so far. If he can clean this one, he'll finish his lap on the same score that Adam Raga managed in heat 1, and that really would be an achievement. And a bit of a stretch target as well for Gratarola and Beau, who are still to come. Evenly matched the 3 riders in this heat 2, you'd suggest. Just getting an indication from his minder as to the remaining time. Gabrielle Marseille. 10 seconds for Marseille to make it through. 5 sections in 5 minutes. It's going to be very tight, particularly as a clumsy finish there from Gabrielle Marseille, but he scrabbles over the line and it's clean as well. 2 cleans in a row for Gabrielle Marseille. A brilliant lap and a 12-mark total. Matteo Gratarola, star of the show at X-Trial Andorra la Vella 2 weeks ago, the season opener. Really stunning performance from him on the opening lap in particular, where he was the only rider to complete all 6 sections successfully, then eliminated Gironi Fajardo in the heats. Took Jaime Beau to a tie-break in the consolation final and finished 4th, bettering his previous best result of 5th from X-Trial Nice in 2013. Aiming to go 1 better tonight and make it on to a first X-Trial World Championship podium. Big step at the end of this section 1 has been the biggest problem for all of the riders so far. This one failed by Jalabert and Raga in heat 1, by Marseille previously in heat 2. Matteo Gratarola's turn for the big step of section 1 in round number 2. Up he goes, he's almost there, but teeters backwards and down to a 5. Yet another rider halted by section 1. big step at the start of section 2 as well. Even Tony Beau failed this one, so we've had 4 fiascos on the very first step of section 2. Matteo Gratarola, who pulled off some incredible stuff at Extra Landora Levella, looking for a miracle here. And again, not too far away from Gratarola, a decent effort from the Italian. But down he tumbles to a second consecutive fiasco. So Gratarola now has just 2 marks to play with for the remaining 3 sections to beat Marseille. That would guarantee himself at least a spot in the consolation final, of course. Tricky start to that section 3, but Gratarola pulls it off with aplomb. Only 1 previous appearance at Extra Barcelona for Matteo Gratarola. Finished 8th here in 2013. He was world number 6 that year. His only previous full Extra season before 2021. A late call-up for this campaign, Gratarola. And he's done extremely well so far. Section 3 completed with a clean. Only Adam Raga managed that in Heat 1. And Gratarola now 2 marks up on where Marseille was at the same stage. Strong start to the lap for Matteo Gratarola. Still the same, 2 marks to play with. 2 sections now to go. He's got 1 out of the way. Oh, 1 for leaning there for Matteo Gratarola. Forced to put down the left foot as well, so that's 2 marks. Any further drop marks for Matteo Gratarola, and his further participation tonight will be in doubt, and that's another. That's 3 marks for Matteo Gratarola in section 4, and it moves him beyond the score of Gabrielle Marseille, who completed his lap on 12. So new standings in heat number 2, Marseille 12, Gratarola 13, and still another section to come for him after this one. Focus now on making it through to the end of section 4 without dropping any further marks, so it's 2 sections in a row completed by Gratarola. What a shame for him, after a clean in section 3, to then go and drop 3 marks in section 4, section that had been cleaned by Gabrielle Marseille here in heat 2. Nothing Gratarola can do now to beat Marseille. He's a point behind. May yet remain in the competition, of course, if he can beat Jaime Busto. Gratarola has also got to have an eye on Mikel Gelabert. Oh, slips back to a single drop mark for leaning. That moves him now onto a score of 14, the same as Gelabert from Heat 1. And if Gratarola is eliminated here, it will be a head-to-head with the Catalan for 5th position. Gratarola cannot afford to drop any further marks in this section 5. He's also got a rush on his hands in terms of time. He's a little bit further behind than Marseille, who really almost ran out at the end of the section. Final steps to go, but Gratarola under time pressure, under pressure in terms of drop marks. Has not been the heat that he might have hoped, and eventually he's going to have to take a foot as well to make it through to the end of the lap. And it's a failure for Gratarola, a further mark for leaning at the very end. Just as the klaxon sounds, he gets across the finish. He's already accrued too many marks and failed the section. Jaime Busto, the final rider up in Heat 2. Gabrielle Marseille leads the way on 12, with Matteo Gratarola second on 18. If Busto beats Marseille, of course, he will be through to tonight's grand final to take on Tony Beau. Busto, the Vertigo man, in his 25th Extra World Championship appearance. Made his Extra debut at this venue in 2015, on that occasion as a wildcard. Then aged just 17. One of the rising talents of the Extra World Championship, Jaime Busto. In this section 1, failed by 4 of the 5 riders who've tackled it. Only Tony Beau in Heat 1 could complete it successfully. Busto, 2 is down for a 5-mark score. All 3 riders here in Heat 2 failing that one, so Busto won't be unduly concerned at this stage. And if he can get through section 2, then Jaime Busto really will earn the applause of this crowd and put himself 1 step closer to a place in the grand final, because Marseille and Gratarola before him failed this one. Was failed by all 3 riders in Heat 1 as well. Section 2. And Busto falters right at the very start, doesn't get much height on that initial jump at all, and straight down to a failure. So all 3 riders in this Heat 2 failed both of the sections at the very start of the lap. Very stretching second lap, clearly. Still 2 marks in his pocket, though, for Jaime Busto against Gabrielle Marseille, who finished on 12. If Busto scores the same total, he will take the position. Oh, momentary lapse there from Jaime Busto. Does well, actually, to stay in the section. Takes a mark for leaning. Left foot goes down to drag himself forward. Oh, and that's going to be another for leaning for Jaime Busto. And it's 13 marks already. He slips into second position behind Gabrielle Marseille. Disastrous section 3 here for Jaime Busto. That was cleaned by Matteo Gratarola. Marseille dropped the only 2 marks of the final 3 sections for him. And Jaime Busto is already ruled out of a place in the grand final. That is a major surprise for Busto, who was the form man of round 1. He was superb to beat Adam Raga and Tony Beau and set up that head-to-head between the reigning world number 1 and 2 in Heat 1. He started Heat 2 as the favourite, but it's all gone away from him already. Now into section 4, and the focus turns to beating Matteo Gratarola. Clean here, and Busto will have done enough for second place in Heat 2. That will take him to the consolation final. Still 5 to play with against Gratarola, who of course failed the last section, section 5. So Jaime Busto is through to the consolation final. It's not the place in the grand final that he might have hoped for, but 3 drop marks in section 3 put paid to that. Busto's first clean of the lap, and he has to wait until his penultimate outing for it. Section 5 then still to come. A 5-mark score here for Busto would leave him on an 18-mark total, the same as Matteo Gratarola. But of course he would have the advantage thanks to his superior result in round 1. Busto making his way through. The result of this one doesn't really matter, to be perfectly honest, because Adam Raga scored 12 marks in Heat 1. He will be going through to the consolation final as the first seed, and Busto will be the first rider out in the consolation final. 13 marks already to his name. Crucial section 3 for Jaime Busto. From here it's just about recovering his confidence before the head-to-head with Adam Raga.
Dos más para punta, uno más para punta al menos. Perfecto, aprieta enrera. Tienes mucho trozo atrás si quieres. 4 más.
Plenty of space behind, says the minder as Jaime Busto moves forward. Just 2 final modules to go in section 5. Already cleaned by Gabrielle Marseille, who will be going through to the grand final for the first time in his extra World Championship career. Crowd encouraging Jaime Busto. He doesn't need it, he's through. Second clean in a row to finish the lap, but the damage was already done in the first 3 sections, and particularly in that critical section 3. 3 drop marks there to slip behind Marseille into second place. Marseille through to the grand final. The first time that Adam Raga and Jaime Busto have ever met in the consolation final. And if Busto wins here, he will take the silver medal from Raga in the 2021 World Championship. If not, he could be passed by Gabrielle Marseille for 3rd overall. The Galician then needing to beat Tony Beau in the final to secure that medal. A repeat here of section 1 from round 2 that all but Beau failed. If both riders fail again here, we will go to a tie-break section to settle a final step on the podium for Extra Barcelona. Jaime Busto first into the section. He was outscored by Raga by just a single mark in the heats. Hasn't beaten Raga since Extra Granada 2019. Famously beats him to take Extra Paris in 2018. Looking to make it back-to-back podiums in 2021, and what would be the 9th of his career. Busto's best world ranking 3rd on 2 occasions. Takes a single mark there for footing, the left foot going down. The final step of this section has proven a problem all night long. Only Tony Beau has successfully made it through. Jaime Busto with a mark already to his name, has 2 more to play with. Up he goes, takes a mark for leaning, forces the bike forward, another for leaning. And finally a left foot dab, and it's a 5-mark score for Jaime Busto. He makes it over the obstacle, but he's accrued too many marks and it is a fiasco. Anything other than a failure then for Adam Raga, and he'll be confirmed world number 2 again in 2021. If it's 5 marks for Raga, he and Busto go again in a tie-break section. Raga defending the silver medal. He's won for the last 6 consecutive seasons behind Tony Beau. Dougie Lumpkin and Albert Cabastan, the only other riders to have beaten Raga over a full season from 2002 onwards. Main step of section number 1. Busto made it through, but it was with a 5-mark score. Anything better than that for Raga, and he will be world number 2 again in 2021. Raga already guaranteed his 20th FIM medal. Which colour will it be? Aborted first attempt to the final step of section 1. Up he goes. Immediately a drop mark for leaning. Another as he moves the bike at the top of the section. He's now onto 3. Looks over at the observer. Forces the bike forward. And Adam Raga is through with a 3-mark score compared to 5 for Jaime Busto, and maintains his run of consecutive podiums. Extra Barcelona, it's 3rd position for Adam Raga, ahead of Jaime Busto to claim his 10th World Championship silver. Grand final appearance for Gabrielle Marseille, and an opportunity for him to steal a place on the World Championship podium as well. To do it, He's got to beat the greatest of all time, newly crowned 15 times world champion Tony Beau, and that would be enough to snatch bronze from Jaime Busto. It's the only possible change to the series standings in this final. Marseille currently set to finish 4th. 6 sections ahead of us. Riders alternating through them as usual. 3 new elements added for the final. Barcelona always the most difficult course of the campaign, so Marseille has his work cut out first through the sections here. Section 1, this a repeat of Section 1 from round 2, which famously was failed by all but Tony Beau. Adam Raga then pulled it off to take the consolation final, to take 3rd on the night. This is the battle for top spot between Gabrielle Marseille and Tony Beau. Massive step this has proven, but within the reach of the riders. It's going to take a big effort from Marseille. Already once failed this section. The second attempt, Busto and Raga were much improved. Will Marseille be as well? Right on the edge of the platform before this big step for Gabrielle Marseille. Not much of a run up at all. It's a physical effort, this one. Marseille urges the bike forward, but still slides down. Slippery painted surface for Marseille, and it's a fiasco in Section 1 for him. Over now to Tony Beau, 15 times an extra world champion. After this success in 2021, his 16th medal in the discipline, because he took bronze as well in 2006. Add that to 9 extra Isle of Nations gold, 15 Trial GP World Championships. I can only imagine the size of his trophy cabinet. Tony Beau. 10 consecutive extra wins after his success at Extra Andorra la Vella. That was the 68th of his career. Tony Beau already made it through this section with a single mark in round number 2. He's going to take a single mark in the grand final as well. But it's an immediate 4-mark advantage in this head-to-head against Gabrielle Marseille after another fine performance through that challenging section. Section 2 of the grand final. This was also Section 2 in round 2. This first step failed by everyone during the heat stages, and it's failed by Gabrielle Marseille in the grand final as well. 10 marks from 2 for Marseille. Over now to Tony Beau, who so many times in his career has pulled off the impossible. Could well take a miracle in this Section 2. Almost double the height of his minder, Carlos Berneda, who's waiting at the top of the section. Former minder to Takisa Fujinami, of course. Tony Beau's corner. Section 2. Up he goes. Oh, he's almost there. Couldn't quite get the right foot up to the top of the section. Otherwise, Beau could have been through. Instead, it's a 5-mark score. That 4-mark gap still intact. Tough first grand final appearance so far for Gabrielle Marseille. 2 failures in succession. Oh dear, make that 3 for Marseille, who's down once again. It's a hat-trick, and not the type he might have hoped for. Neither Marseille nor Beau were particularly troubled by this Section 3 earlier on in the night. The pressure of the grand final clearly getting to Gabrielle Marseille. 3 failures in a row for him, and a major opportunity here for Tony Beau to capitalise. He leads on 6, Marseille now on 15. Right in hand, though, for Marseille. If Beau fails this one, he'll move on to 11, and we'll be back to the 4-mark deficit that opened up after Section 1. 40 seconds remaining for the second half of this section. This the main step of the return direction. Tackle for the first time tonight by Beau, who's down for a 5. Second failure in a row for Tony Beau. Shows just how challenging these sections are in the grand final of Extra Barcelona for 2021. This the second section of the grand final to be tackled in both directions. Section 4. This time, though, both familiar to the riders. Section 3 of round 1 and Section 4 of round 2. And cleaned by both Beau and Marseille earlier in the night. So now it's time that becomes a factor. Just 60 seconds on the clock, remember. Section 4 for Gabrielle Marseille. He's failed 3 in a row so far. He'll be desperate to avoid another fiasco here. Just try and keep himself in contention with Tony Beau, at least as long as possible. He trails by 4. So far, so good for Gabrielle Marseille. Return direction still to come. He will need to rush it a little bit, and that's where errors could creep in. But in the first direction, it's clean for Gabrielle Marseille. First step of the return direction has posed riders problems earlier on in the night. Even riders as great as Adam Raga. Single drop mark for leaning there. Marseille has to use the left foot as well to drag the bike forward, and he's still got to get himself out of an uncomfortable spot here, Marseille. Still pivoting round on that left foot. And that's going to be another drop mark there for Gabrielle Marseille. He moves on to 3. Looking to complete his first section, though, of this grand final. Gabrielle Marseille is through. First time he's been in the grand final. First section he's completed in the grand final. It's 18 marks from 4. Tony Beau now leads by 7 as he heads into section 4. A failure here, of course, and there'd only be 2 marks between the 2 riders with 2 sections still to come. So Marseille is not out of this just yet. Moreno Piazza, the observer, looking closely there at Tony Beau as he got very close to dropping a mark for leaning. Eventually just about avoids it. Now working on in the return direction, Tony Beau. He's past the point that cost Gabrielle Marseille 2 of his marks. He's past the point that cost Gabrielle Marseille his 3rd. Tony Beau looking set to record the first clean of this grand final 2021 Extra Barcelona, and Tony Beau maintains his newly acquired 7-mark lead. Brand new section for the grand final, section 5. A failure here for Gabrielle Marseille, and Tony Beau will be guaranteed victory at Extra Barcelona. Whatever happens, though, Beau will have the chance to wrap things up in his next outing with a section to spare. 2 marks dropped so far by Gabrielle Marseille. Whatever happens from here, a very impressive night for him. His first podium since Extra Budapest in 2020. That was a 3rd place. This is his first grand final, so his best ever result already assured. Gabrielle Marseille. Time still ticking away, more than half of it elapsed in this section 5, penultimate section of the night for Marseille. More of a technical challenge, this one. Twists and turns on the way out. Up goes Marseille. He's landed awkwardly on the front wheel. He's going to have to flip himself forward, slips backwards slightly, manages to gather his balance again. Time still ticking. Marseille in trouble here. Needs to rush through. Oh, and he's short on the landing. And down to another 5. 4 failures in 5 sections for Gabrielle Marseille. Tony Beau wins Extra Barcelona. 2 rides to spare, and job done for Tony Beau. Now 14 times a winner in the Palau San Jordi, 13 of those official stagings of Extra Barcelona for the World Championship. Just for pride from here on in for Tony Beau. He's only completed 2 of the 4 sections in the grand final so far. Uncustomarily stretched. Such is the level of difficulty, as always, at Extra Barcelona. Gabrielle Marseille had already taken a couple of marks at this point, but it was mainly the landing between the 2 trunks late on in the section that saw Marseille fluff his lines. Tony Beau rarely makes the same kind of mistake. Leaps well. He was a little bit short as well, but manages just about to get the back tyre onto the section, and through he comes. Tony Beau with a single drop mark in section 5, completes it in 44 seconds, moves on to a 12-mark score, and he's 11 up with 1 section to go. Section 6, fittingly the Montesa section. 2 Montesa riders, of course, through to this grand final, and the signature section of Extra Barcelona. Very similar to section 5 from the previous laps, but there's a tricky step this time around towards the end, and a little more of that right-hand lane used here, as you can see from Gabrielle Marseille, the first into the section. 4 failures out of 5, only saved 2 marks in section 4. Even that was only with 4 seconds to spare. Tough grand final. Marseille making his first appearance at this stage of the competition. Bested by Tony Beau, but there's no shame in that. 2 steps still to come. This is the significant step that I was talking about that's new for the grand final. Bit of a crisscross here. Final stages of it. Right to left, then back to right, and the exit. Gabrielle Marseille is tight on time, but he's home. 55 seconds and a first clean of the lap for Gabrielle Marseille, who ends his first grand final appearance on a high. Tony Beau, 2021 world champion. I'm sure he'll like the sound of that. 15 extra world championships. Look at the speed with which he's racing through section 6. Already through 3 of the 5 sections in this grand final. Cannot be caught, of course, from 11 marks up. Gabrielle Marseille finished with a clean. Can Tony Beau do the same? Certainly a lot quicker in the early stages of the section. It's the advantage of running second, of course. Beau has not only seen Marseille do it, but he also knows where in the course he needs to be a little bit quicker. and how much time he's going to have to play with, and he's managed that quite nicely. He left himself with plenty in his pocket for these final two steps that are the most challenging elements of this grand final section 6. A lot of work there on the back wheel from Tony Beau. In 45 seconds, he's home in section 6. His second clean of the lap, his third completed section in a row. It's a 12-mark total for the grand final for Tony Beau, who's victorious at Extra Barcelona once again.
Yeah.